Hey, what up
Detroit is out cold.
Take 313. We here now.
What up, though?
What up, though?
What up,
What's
though?
happening? X knows best.
Man, nothing much, man. What's up with you, huh?
Hey, man, trying to get through all this snow and winter. You know what I'm saying? But one thing we can do is try to heat it up, man. With the sports talk that we do with What Up Those Sports, man. You ready,
Yeah.
nephew?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Man, let's get it, man. What you got for me this week?
Man, I was just looking, man. I know actually this evening, a couple of hours ago, they just announced the All-Star starters. So I definitely wanted to get your take on that. I was taking a look at it first. The Western Conference was hot. People was talking about, Dame versus Luka, who should be in the starting lineup. So I was interested to hear what you think, man. So, I mean, we can start there. I know we got with the Western Conference, they had Stephen Curry, Luka, LeBron, obviously, and then Kawhi and Jokic. What do you think about who they got selected for the starters?
Man, this year, man, I think it's going to be tough on both ends, especially with the Nets being a part of the East. But we'll start West first with that problem, that flip between Luka and Dame.
Yeah.
Man. I can't, I like Luka. Luka's the guy. I mean, he's one of those guys, young fella, much game, much respect for his game. But Dame Dollar, man, I think he got gypped. To me, he's playing as good as anybody. Dallas isn't even where their potential shows that they should be. Portland is still getting wins minus the other backcourt star. You take a 25-point a game guy out of the equation, and they're not winning as much as they want to, but they're right there in the mix.
Yeah, thanks.
So I mean, Dame getting got this year, man. I think it's the overall respect that we have for Luka. He putting up numbers, so again, that's there too, but. It's got to be a feel for who's really most, balling the most. Who's giving it that 110%, man. Who's really unstoppable right now. And Luka is one of those guys, but man, Dame Dollar, man, I think he should have been a starter.
No, I feel you. I 100% agree. The crazy thing is, I was checking it out. I saw it shortly after they made the announcement. So basically, the way that the All-Star voting works, they have like a GM vote, and they have like a player vote, and then they have like a fan vote.
Gotcha.
It came to the GM vote and the player vote. Damian Lillard was a starter. The fan vote is what made Luka become a starter, which I don't know how he got the nod, only winning one out of the three categories. I'm not sure how the math works out. But yeah, Damian Lillard definitely won two out of those three categories. So I would agree with those two, those two places, with the players and with the GMs. I definitely feel like that Damian Lillard was supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he deserves it. And I feel like he's been playing great. Like you said, CJ is out. Their numbers are pretty comparable scoring wise. They both just under 30 points, 29 point something. But the Blazers still looking tough.
Yes, they are.
And Dame has been playing ridiculous. Not to take away from Luka, man, he's great, but I would have put Dame in there as well.
Hey, it looks like Hoops for Less on IG is agreeing with you, nephew. He said Dame Dollar all day too. Hoops for Less. I agree with you, man. I agree with you.
Shout out to Hoops for Less, man, because I'm agreeing with that.
No doubt.
So as far as the rest of the All-Star starters for the West, Stephen Curry, we talked about Luka, we got LeBron, we got Kawhi, we got Jokic. How you feeling about the rest of the lineup? You feeling it or not so much?
I mean, again, I can't argue it. This is a tough year on both sides.
Yeah,
it's a tough year. It's a tough year. Some guys are having really great seasons and not even making the reserve stats.
Facts.
Facts. So
in a minute too.
Oh my goodness, you know what I'm saying? So I can't argue with that lineup. My only issue with the lineup on either side is that Dame Dollar, Luka.
I got you.
But again, you can't go wrong with either.
You can't.
But I mean, Dame Dollar, man, again, you gotta look at winning shots, fourth quarter points.
Yeah, so I definitely feel you when it comes to Luka and Damian Lillard. Obviously, the rest of the starting lineup, we have Stephen Curry. We talked about Luka in there. We just talked about him, and that's topped off with LeBron, Kawhi, and then Jokic. Let me know what you think about the rest of the starting lineup. Any disagreements or anything like that?
No.
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple. Like I said, it's just such a hard. I mean, you can't go wrong with about another 2 or 3 of those that it could have been interchangeable. Mm-hmm. So Lillard really is the only one to me where I felt like there was a snub.
No, I feel you. So yeah, we agree on the Damian Lillard situation. I have a list of guys that I think should complete the bench unit for the Western Conference. I want to hear your opinion. So I can go player by player with it. So the first person, obviously, with him not being a starter that I had on my list as far as who should be on the backup team was Damian Lillard. So we didn't talk much about him since we already did. The next player though that I had that should be at that backup 2 guard spot, I had Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I agree with you. That was one of my guys as well, having a great season. Obviously, they're winning. We see what type of winning they're doing. And that was kind of predicted last year. They were going to be one of those teams that were going to be up and coming and consistently good. They had a young group of players. They got shooters. They got vets. They got young fellas. And Donovan Mitchell, man, who was a guy that my Detroit Pistons let get away. We definitely should have grabbed him up. We haven't done well in years with actually going to get those type of players that end up being impact players. But Utah, hey, they did right by picking him in the draft, and they've grown a young team around him, and he's producing.
Definitely. I agree with you wholeheartedly with the Donovan Mitchell thing. For y'all who watch the pod, or who watch or listen to the pod, you'll come to learn like we have a very love-hate relationship with the Detroit Pistons and that front office. This stems back many years. Several passed on players, several misused draft picks, several players brought to the team and the roster much past their prime and paid like they were still in their prime. It's a bunch we could talk about. You know what I'm saying? We'll say.
Matter of fact, we're going to set up an episode just our Piston episode. I'm putting that in the making right now. We will be having a Piston episode because there's so much that we can talk about what coulda, shoulda.
That would be one of the most stressful episodes.
Oh yes. I think that'll be an episode that we'd have a lot of chatter from our fans, a lot of feedback from our fans.
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure we're not the only ones that are frustrated with our Detroit Pistons.
And cannot be. We could not be. But yeah, so we talked about Donovan Mitchell at that 2 guard spot off the bench. Who do you think should run that small forward?
Oh, well, that small forward, I mean, we got George from the Clippers.
Yeah.
Having a great season, stellar season. It depends on where you want to put Zion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I had Paul George and Zion together. I had Paul George as that backup 3 guard spot or backup small forward spot. I like Zion, and then I got to go with the center position. I like Gobert. I'm sorry. I had Anthony and Gobert.
I was about to say, hey, you can't forget AD. He already not starting.
Davis and Gobert as my 2 backup forward or my backup bigs. And then in my last 2, you know how they had the last 2 like reserve spots.
Yeah.
Those 2 spots, I had Zion. And then the last one I had was Devin Booker.
He was one of my last guys as well.
Okay, cool.
Booker, George, as I said, Gobert, Lillard, and then again I'm going AD. I definitely got to go Zion and Mitchell. Mitchell could have been looked at as a snub too, just because of how well they're doing.
Yeah, definitely. So the thing is, I don't know if I know Paul George has been out. I know AD is currently out. I'm not sure if those players will be back. AD, maybe not. I don't know that Achilles has been bothering him lately.
But you know what? I heard that it's not necessarily as bad as they thought it was. It really they're actually talking like it might not be the Achilles.
That would be a big thing. I know they
yes.
I feel like teams do that a lot. Like they'll try to downplay it. I remember when KD messed up his Achilles, and at first they said it was like a calf.
Yeah, that's what they're saying with AD. It might just be the calf now. So
yeah, so hopefully it is just that, and it's not a ploy by the Lakers and the PR to try to make it seem like less than it is. But nonetheless, it sounds like we had the same 12 as far as All-Stars in the West. I want to shift over to the East, hear what you think. They put out the starters today. So they rolled out Kyrie Irving, Bradley Beal. Shout out to Brad Beal, man, about time. Then obviously Kevin Durant, who was the captain, Giannis, and then Joel Embiid. What are you thinking about that starting five?
Actually, that was the five I predicted a couple episodes ago. Actually, the exact five. The exact 5X.
I was hoping you wasn't gonna bring that up.
Yeah. You know I'm gonna bring it up, man. I wouldn't be Young James, man.
No, I got you.
But really, I had to go with that backcourt. We talked about that specifically a couple episodes ago. That I mean, to me, that's just an impactful backcourt. You got Bradley Beal and Kyrie. Ooh, I mean, what are you lacking?
Very tough.
What are you lacking? It's
a little defense and a little passing, but yeah, that's tough.
That's what you got big men in the back of you for. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, their heavy end is offense.
Right, of course.
You know what I'm saying? But that's why you got big men behind you to, block that rim.
Buckets anyway.
Huh?
I said it's All-Star weekend. We want to see some buckets anyway.
Oh, got to see some buckets. Again, like we said a couple of episodes back, this is almost like old school NBA, 80s, 90s NBA, where, there's games 140 to 125. You know what I'm saying? I've actually seen a couple games this year where the Cats had 45 points in the first quarter.
Oh yeah.
So it's just like, where has this game been back in the day? This is what the Phoenix Suns, Steve Nash was trying to produce back in the 90s. They was trying to produce this type of late 90s, early 2000s. This kind of game in the league. The league didn't want this though. The league was more defensive. But now look what it's turned into. And I kind of had that feeling once we start getting all the overseas guys coming heavy. Up and down over there.
You got to think about too. We had the old age and the retirement of Shaq. Once he left the league, once his dominance was over, the era of the dominant big man kind of came to an end. You know what I mean? Offenses have ran through the center until now since Shaq. You know what I mean? Like Joel Embiid and Jokic are two guys playing great, but you see they play different. You know what I'm saying? They shoot jumpers, they dribble, drive, pass. You know what I mean? So it's just different. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. I do want to hear who you think should be coming off that bench for the East in the All-Star game. I had a couple of guys I wanted to talk about, and it got a little tough for me when I was going through my list.
Yeah,
I want to think too. So we can do the same type of way. We can go player by player. I know that point guard spot. I had James Harden right there since he didn't start. Who do you think you have running that point guard spot off the bench?
Yeah, same difference. Harden at the guard. I'm gonna just do it this way, X. I'm gonna give you my Eastern Conference bench.
Let's hear it.
As a coach, you can flip it how you want.
All right, let's hear it.
So I got Harden.
Mm-hmm.
I got Brown from the Celtics.
Okay.
I got Sabonis from Indiana.
Okay.
I got Randall, who's having an unbelievable season. Actually had a great season last year, but you can see what he's doing this year, man. I wish my Pistons would have grabbed him up in free agency just because he's balling. He's a double-double, and he's maturing. His game is matured.
Yes, it has.
Yeah, yes, it has. Then, my last three is going to round out at man Levine from Chicago, who's having a stellar season.
I thought you were going to.
I wish he can leave Chicago and go somewhere that he can get some wins.
Right,
because that's what's next. Because he's showing the league that he can put up numbers. I'm gonna finish my last two out with, of course, Simmons. That's my guy in Philly. Philly's he's one of my guys for sure. Philly's winning as well, and he's one of the reasons. With of course Embiid, who's MVP right now.
Right.
And lastly, Tatum, the other Boston guy. Those are my guys, my Eastern Conference guys. As you see, is Boston heavy kind of. But I think both of those guys deserve that opportunity.
No, I agree. I agree with that part about Boston. We got some disagreements though. So I'll give you my Eastern Conference bench. I'm pulling it up now.
Okay.
So I had Harden, Levine, Brown, Tatum, and then Vucevic.
You put Vucevic, okay.
He's playing great. You know what I mean? He's been playing really good. Like that Orlando Magic team has been they haven't been good this year.
No, not at all.
You know, they're not expected to be.
Where's the talent at that place? Yeah, there's a little talent there, but they're not winning.
Yeah, it's right there with Vucevic. So I had him. I think he deserves to get that All-Star nod. I'm not sure if he will.
Over Sabonis?
So look, they always have like a 5-5, and then they'll have two bench players or like two rotation players. And this is where I was having trouble at because I really want to. I'm putting Julius Randle.
Okay.
Right. And I really want to put Sabonis, but I really don't want to overlook Trae Young. Atlanta is looking terrible, and Trae Young hasn't been efficient that much this year, but he's still like 27 and like 11, 27 and 10, like that is his stats. You know what I mean? So that's tough to overlook. If I had to take two, I might take Trae Young and Julius Randle right there.
Okay.
Sabonis, and I hate to do it to Sabonis, I cannot take Randle out. I cannot take Randle. I had to keep Vucevic in there, which is
somebody had to not make the team. Somebody had to
not make the team.
So you would rather it be Sabonis than Trae Young?
I would rather it be. I would say that I would go with, just to make it easy with guards and bigs, I would go Trae Young and I would go Julius Randle.
Okay.
Right. And I hate to not give Sabonis that love because the Pacers are really balling. But if I was to take anybody out, honestly, it would have to be Vucevic. And I would just move like Sabonis to that backup 5 spot, and then Randle and Young will be my 2 extra players. But I'm gonna have to take Trae, and I'm gonna have to take Julius, and I'm gonna have to leave Sabonis off mine, even though it hurt my heart to do
it. Okay. Hey, again, it's just one of those years, and to me, scoring is a premium in the NBA. There's so many scores, so you got to look at somebody with a high point per game average is going to be sitting out. Period. But it's been that way the last 4 or 5 years. There's always been somebody, like I said, it was Bradley Beal sitting on the outside. 5 years ago, it was Damian Lillard sitting on the outside in the West after averaging 24, 25 a game. So it's just, that's starting to be the norm that a guy averaging 25 plus just may not make the All-Star.
I got you.
X, just real quick, this is one of my favorite segments, X. While we're talking Western Conference, my favorite segment is called X Factor. You probably like it.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they can see it.
So, no question.
Okay, let's do
you
it.
probably like that. Now, with that being said, with X Factor, I want to know, tell me who's the X Factor of the Western Conference?
As far as the team or as far as the player?
I want as far as the team and the player on that team.
Okay, I got you. I mean, I have a few in mind. I think I'll start at the top, I guess. Utah Jazz are at the top of the standings right now, I believe. Their X factor, I think, is going to be Jordan Clarkson's.
Balling this year.
Donovan Mitchell, I feel like we kind of know what to expect out of him.
Exactly.
Mid-20s as far as an average with points. He'll play some solid D. He'll make some big shots. He'll close out games for you. He'll have some explosive games when you need it. I think where they struggle sometimes is the predictability with that offense when you know it's going to be Donovan. Yeah. The way they've been spacing the floor, and Jordan Clarkson's coming in and being that secondary scorer, person that creates a shot, that's essential for them. You know what I mean? Their success is going to ride on that. as long as they get what we expect from their other players. Who are you seeing as far as X factor for Utah?
I kind of have to go with Clarkson as well.
Okay.
We knew he would be a solid bench player for them, or maybe even a solid starter, depending on what they wanted to do as far as the lineup. But he's providing that punch. But he's doing a lot more than just being solid. He might mess around and be the sixth man of the year.
I will vote for him.
Yeah, he's balling.
Yeah.
So, real quick, X Factor. Real quick, X. We're going to shoot it out here. 2 teams in the East, 2 teams in the West. Tell me who's the X Factor on those teams, with each one of those teams pushing for playoff dominance. We're going to start off with Boston first in the East.
Boston. I think Boston's X Factor is Kemba Walker. We kind of know what we'll get out of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They both ran around 25 points a game so far. They both have shown the ability to make shots and create their own baskets. What they're going to need is Kemba Walker to be able to hit his open shots and be able to create for himself when he needs to. But we're going to need him to get everybody else going. Tatum and Brown can get themselves going, create their own shot.
Yes.
The only thing offensively that they really lack at all is the ability to get other people going. And that's what they're going to need Kemba if they want to be successful enough to really make a playoff push. So I got to go Kemba.
Okay, we're going to go with the second team in the East right now. Milwaukee, who lost tonight as well. I think this is like their 5th game in a row. Pretty bad losing streak right now for somebody that has been so dominant in the East the years before the Nets became the Nets that we see. This is a bad year to start falling off. So tell me who their X Factor is.
So I'll answer the X Factor question first about the Bucks. I'm not so upset with the Bucks for not being as dominant this regular season though, and I'll tell you why. The X Factor for the Bucks, it is a 2-player answer. It's a combination of Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton. For me. The reason why is because we've seen Giannis dominate through the regular season. We've seen Giannis get to the playoffs and become very much predictable and very much stoppable. You know what I mean? And to be successful in the playoffs, they're going to need somebody who can close games. It's not going to be so easy for Giannis to run past people in transition and get dunks. You know what I mean? That'll be cool when they can get it. They're going to need somebody that they can get a ball to at the elbow and say, get us a basket. Yeah. They're going to need somebody that they can say, come off this pick and roll and make sure we get a good shot, whether it's you or somebody else. So I feel like that's where Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday will have to share that load. And as far as they can do that successfully is as far as they'll go. And that's my opinion as far as the X Factor.
I agree with you. Real quick before we jump to the West, just real quick with Milwaukee. I just have never been sold on Milwaukee, even when they were coming out the East. But lastly, just hearing you say when the playoffs happen, the offense that they need, the offensive shot that they need to move them past where they've been, it's just horrible to hear that Giannis is a big man, and not once did you say that they need to have somebody in their post they can dump it down to. Everything was perimeter oriented with what you said, but that's why they won't win. That's why they don't win. They don't have that because they got guys that can shoot jump shots. They don't have that, and Giannis should be that. As a 6'11" guy, he's strong, quick, freakishly athletic. He's supposed to have 1 or 2 post moves. Period. 1 or 2 post moves by now. You know what I'm saying? That's what's stopping them from going to the next level.
Yeah, if he had a little bit of a post game, they would at least have to maybe double him. You know what I mean?
Just a jump hook. A jump hook.
Yeah,
something basic. Left, right hand jump hook.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and go west, nephew. We're gonna go west. The 2 teams I'm looking for the X Factor for is 1, Portland.
So with CJ McCollum being out, I'm gonna say that the X Factor for them is gonna be not even a player. The X Factor for them is gonna be health.
Okay.
Nurkic is battling injury issues. CJ is battling injury issues. They're role players. We kind of know what to expect from them. They got, Covington. He's going to make some open 3-pointers. He's going to play defense. He's going to help out on the rebounds. They got Derrick Jones. He's going to be long and athletic on D. He's going to finish above the rim. You know what I mean? They have Gary Trent, who's going to be a spark as far as his energy and his defense, his 3-point shooting ability. Their X factor is going to be health. If they can get Jokic, if they can get Nurkic healthy and comfortable rolling into the playoffs, hopefully he can play much better. If they can get CJ back, well, that foot, he won't be back for a while, but you know, they're waiting on their health to come around at the same time. CJ was averaging like 27 points so far this year. You know what I mean? If he can do something close to that alongside Dame, that's what Dame's been waiting for, is another All-Star next to him.
Oh, of course.
So their X factor, I would say, is health.
Okay. You know, I'm always go with my guy. The X factor is gonna be Melo.
Melo will be Melo. I'm sorry I didn't mention Melo. Shout out to Melo.
Yeah, man. You know, he continues to do his thing. I appreciate how he's playing his role. You know, he's knowing he's gonna get his shots. He's not gonna be the shot taker Melo from New York or Denver, but he gets his shots. They make sure that he gets his shots. You know, so with that being said, and it makes Melo be more of a dog on the defensive boards as well. He's grabbing boards. He's been playing defense with his quick hands. You know, he's a vet right now, and he's playing like a vet. Playing like a vet.
I had beef with Melo a couple seasons back when he was so mad about having to come off the bench, and so I wasn't feeling him for a minute. Now that he's embraced his role, he's shining in it, especially with CJ out. He's been shining in it. Definitely mean to leave Melo off, but I still think it's going to be health for them. You know,
I agree with you. They have too many people hurt for it not to be health. That's actually a good outlook, nephew. I appreciate that. I respect that. Definitely good outlook.
Most definitely. I completely agree. Kind of among the same subject.
Yes.
I'm switching up a little bit. We've been talking about the good teams a lot. We've been talking about the players that are already in that bag a lot. I got a question for you. It's along the same lines, right?
Okay.
Give me a player, and I can give you mine first for an example if need be. Give me a player of your favorite sleeper player. Who do you see? Who are you a fan of that you think is going to explode soon? Who's on the brink? Somebody who may be just a role player right now, but you see him being a star. Somebody that's maybe an all-star that you see being that guy, an MVP candidate. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who is underrated that you see being about to explode. And I got a couple players I wanted to mention.
Now, do they have to be underrated, or can they just not be superstars now?
Underrated, let's say under the radar. You know what I mean? They might be just not a superstar yet, but you think they will be.
I got to go with Grant.
Jeremy Grant
from Detroit. Grant is balling in Detroit right now.
Can't be mad at that. Shout out to Jeremy.
I mean, he just had a 40-point game, I want to say last night, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, but I can see his ceiling is I really can't. I said that wrong. I'll say I don't see his ceiling. How about that? Because I don't know how good this guy can be. I saw how his game took the next step last year in the bubble. I appreciated his game before then, but to see the growth in the bubble, and to see what his game has turned into once he went somewhere that he can make his own team. Because right now, he's the best player on the Pistons by far to me.
Yeah, no, he is.
So with that being said, he went there. Now, he didn't necessarily know he's going to go to Detroit and be the man. He knew he was going to get his opportunity to shine, but he's the man in Detroit. And he plays both sides of the ball. He's still young, and his game is growing. It's growing, so he's definitely one of those guys.
I'm not mad at that pick. And shout out to Jeremy Grant. I didn't see that pick coming. Shout out to Jeremy Grant. The thing that I can respect about him is he bet on himself. You know what I mean? He had offers to go to contenders and kind of play his same role. He could have stayed in Denver and took less money and played his same role
and possibly won a championship. What would Denver look like with him on the squad still this year? They'd be crazy.
Much more defensive.
Yes. And again, he's putting up 40. So
he's tough.
He's tough. So I'll go with Grant. Another guy that I have, I would say Siakam in Toronto.
Okay.
I definitely think his game really doesn't necessarily have a ceiling either. Although he hasn't taken the next step this year than I expected. I mean, he's kind of even to where he was last year. I don't see the step. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is he played so well last year that even is still very good. You know,
oh no, even it's pretty good. If the Raptors were better, he would be one of those possible all-stars.
Yeah.
I think the thing with Siakam is that he is in the role of the guy, but he is at this current level that his play is at, he's just not the guy. You know what I mean? Like, he was great when he had Kawhi out there with him, and you got to worry about Kawhi. But then this other dude is out there that's crazy. You know what I mean? That's going
he's
crazy.
not a
like
number
Siakam.
one option. He's not a number
he's
one.
Not a number
two. He's a two. He's a
option.
great two, though. I think if he
really
had a one, that's what would make his game open up. Because right now, people are focused on him, and his game isn't good enough right now. But I can see the elevation of his game as he continues to grow. But it's not good enough right now to be able to handle them double teams. The team is focused on you.
It's very Giannis. It's very Giannis-esque in the way that it's just kind of predictable and stiff. You know what I mean? Like, he's not an ISO move type of player. He's gonna go right. He's gonna spin back left, probably. You know what I mean? Like, he's just a little predictable. And you're the guy, and everybody has you on the scouting report. That's just very easy to check the box. And he also had I saw something like some interviews about him, and like he didn't really get a chance to like get in the gym that much this summer. With COVID and all that, in between the season and all that. So we'll see with Siakam.
Still have another half of season left.
I count him out, and I heard them kind of think about putting some trade stuff together, maybe, and get Drummond out there, which would be a help for that interior. So we'll see. I like DeJounte Murray. I like DeJounte Murray. Now, I'm not saying
a star.
No, listen. So I'm not saying DeJounte Murray is like gonna be, you know what I'm saying, a Kawhi Leonard type of growth for her.
Okay.
But I can see him being one of those guys that is like I'll say like one of those perennial almost all-stars, like a really good, like a Mike Conley in his prime type of player, where he was a really good player on a really solid team, but he was the head of the snake. You know what I mean? Like, he was the leader of that team as far as from the point guard position. But I could see DeJounte Murray growing into something like that very easily. You know what I mean? He shows flashes offensively. His defense has always been really good. Once you stay on the floor for seasons at a time and really get to feel the game from the point guard spot, I could see him taking a step, like a big step in his game. I like the way he guards. I just like the way he kind of moves around on the court when he's feeling comfortable, especially when he's scoring the ball into his spots. You know what I'm saying? He's using his length and his size. He definitely uses his quickness and his athleticism on D. And I could see him taking a jump to being one of those really good and really solid point guards on a really good team, which is a step up from him right now. Just kind of a guy that's out there that's still figuring it out. But that's one of the players I really like, man. I'm excited to see what he can do moving forward.
Okay. That's one that I didn't see. I respect the young man's game. I think he's a solid player, but I only see solid. You know what I'm saying? Again, the NBA is just so crazy talented, man, that even when you can see some. I haven't seen enough of their games for me to be like, okay, I see what X is talking about. I've seen enough of him over the years. They don't get a lot of TV run anymore.
They don't.
But I've seen enough of him over years. With the last couple of years, I saw the growth and his potential. But I haven't seen enough of him to see enough games where he balled out for me to be like, okay, I think. Like, again, we haven't seen a whole bunch of Levine in Chicago, but you see the numbers that he puts up. You know what I'm saying? Right. So he's another one of my guys. And I'm like, okay, Levine, I think, is on that next level as well. I know we're going to be going to another segment that you have upcoming. But before we get to that point, Levine, and I'm going to end out with Randall. I think Randall is going to be a star. I actually always liked him. Always liked him when he was in LA. Again, he was young. His game was rusty. You know what I'm saying? As far as it being squeaky clean and like a motor ready to go. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't ready to go. He had so much you had to knock the dust off a part of his game. You know what I'm saying? And shine him up a little bit. He had to learn to being the vet he is. He's about 6-7 years in now.
He's getting old. Yeah, I think he was in the 20. I need to do my basketball history. I feel like he was in the 2014 draft though.
Something like that. I know it's been about 6-7 years. I agree.
Yeah.
And like I said, I always liked him. He was tough. I could always see him being a double-double type guy, but he was still to the basket more. Now he got Jay. He done worked on the mid-range. He done worked on the step back to go along. He still, what happens most of the time is when guys that play his position usually end up getting jump shots down the road, they stop going to the basket. They become jump shooters. That's not him. You know what I'm saying? He is still physical. He's like a little less physical Zion, but with a three.
Same, just without the hops. Yeah,
a little less physical Zion. You know what I'm saying? Zion to me is just a little more physical. He's gonna dunk on if any opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And the funny thing is, they're still not running plays with Zion, really, man. He's almost more of a playmaker right now than they are with running plays for him. You know, he gets the big.
We could do a whole episode on how the Pelicans coaching staff and front office is doing a terrible job right now trying to figure out how exactly he had like a game the other day. He had like 20 some points in the first half. He was like 11 for 12. He ended off the game like 12 for 15. Like he was like
I saw that game. Yes, but most of his games are like that. That's what he's shooting. Like 60%.
Yeah,
from the field.
It's very weird.
They don't use him, and they just go away from him.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell you.
Hey, Zion, get these points off the boards, man. You know, because he's aggressive on the boards. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand. That's why I said, I think one of our last segments, I was saying that's why they need not trade the ball brother away. He makes Zion play the way Zion should play. You know, go get these lobs. Get involved. Okay, since we ain't got no direct plays towards you, let's go ahead and run this play. But if you catch your defensive player slipping, I'm always looking for this lob. And he always gonna catch him slipping because you can't stay in front of him.
Yeah, no, definitely. I can't agree with that enough. I think that the main thing for them is they just need to get that roster shaped out a little better. Bledsoe is kind of in the way right there, taking Lonzo away from that point guard spot. He's kind of turned into a 3-and-D shooting guard, kind of that can play make a little bit. Like he's playing great right now, just very much different than we've been used to with him. Shout out to Lonzo, he's been playing good lately. But yeah, man, I think that we running close to kind of the end. I want to make sure that we in here. I got somebody chiming in. Hold on real quick. I'm on live as well.
Who we got?
I did want to ask you, because one of the comments that we had, this is on the last video. Somebody was asking me in the comments and stuff, what type of basketball history did you and I have? They saw some of the stuff back here. You know what I'm saying? It was curious. The question that I had for you, and we might be running short, so we might have to start it off next time, but I wanted to make sure to ask you, what is your earliest basketball memory? Something from yourself playing ball, you know what I'm saying? And then we can use that to kind of walk down the lane with it. But I wanted to make sure to ask you that. I wanted to get it out before I forgot. In this episode, somebody's asking that.
My earliest basketball memory, I had to give a little more background on me. I was born in Chicago, Illinois, 1973. That's where I'm up with James.
Right.
But I moved to Grand Rapids, Michigan in 83 when I was 10. But my earliest basketball memory comes from, I don't know, I probably was 6 years old. And I went to, it was what they used to call the row houses in Chicago, like little smaller projects were behind our apartment building. And I used to go back there and watch the big kids and grown-ups play basketball. And I go back there with a ball. My mom got me a little rubber ball. And, you know, I'm waiting on I'm going to actually be able to play. And you know how little kids were back in the day. You start getting on the court and they get off the court. You know what I'm saying? I just couldn't wait till I was old enough to be able to ball on the court. You know, not wait till everybody's gone. Now I can shoot around. So always being around basketball and seeing my older cousin Ricky playing basketball when I was a kid. He played at King High. It just made me love basketball. It made me love basketball, and you know, basketball has changed my life. And I've in turn changed other kids' lives with the game of basketball as well, man. So again, you know, X, basketball is a life changer, man. It teaches you a lot of things. I love the game. I love the game. I've loved the game since I was 5 years old, and you know, still love the game at 47. And I just wanted to let everybody know, you know, if you can still get it. I ain't hung up my shoes yet, for sure.
Hey, look. So we're about to wrap it up. I do like my earliest basketball memory, and you got to ask my pops this next time you talk to him. And I don't even know if he remember this still. When I was a kid, like I had to be like 7 or 8, maybe 9 years old. He would pile me and my two brothers in the car. We would ride around the neighborhood, and like not even just neighborhood, we ride around the city. Like I grew up on the west side of Detroit, you know what I'm saying? Like we used to ride around and like find other kids outside hooping, and he would just stop the car like, yo, I feel like my sons can beat y'all in 2-on-2, or if it was just one of them, like, how old are you? My oldest son is 9. You want to play him 1-on-1 real quick?
Right.
I don't know if he remembers that, but like we used to do that all the time when I was a kid. That's definitely my earliest basketball memory. I will never forget that. We gonna pick back up on that next time we come together. We're gonna come back. Because we running short on time here. We're gonna wrap things. I want to end off by saying we appreciate everybody for checking us out. Don't forget, man, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you tell your peoples about us, man. Check us out. Follow us on well, man. We want to hear some topics that y'all want to hear us talk about. We want to hear y'all takes on the stuff that you heard from us. And let us know what you think. We're always interested to hear that stuff as well. So we definitely appreciate everybody checking in with us, man. And that's all I got for him. Uncle, what you got to say?
Man, I just want to, first of all, say great show, X. Great show.
Always, man. Likewise.
And I want to thank our fans for continuing to support us and helping us grow here at What Up Though Sports. I need you fans to please, please, please like, share, and subscribe to our show on Ready Set TV. We want to continue to grow with you, be here for you today as well as tomorrow. And with that being said, if you have it in your heart to help us grow at What Up Though Sports, feel free to go ahead and visit patreon.com. That's patreon.com/ReadySetTV. What up, though?
What up, though?